So welcome to Bern, Switzerland, and the 2017 Bern Ladies Cup. Coming to you live today from the curling ban Almend in Bern. And we are featuring the game between Nina Roth and her US team and Wang from China this morning. The US team has lead Eileen Geving, Becca Hamilton at second, Tabitha Peterson at third, and Nina Roth is the skip. And for China, we have Zhou, Jinli Liu, Rui Wang, and Wang skipping. So, the first stone has just been delivered, and it is from the US team playing the yellow stones this morning. And they draw it into the house. I'm joined today by Michael Schifferle. Morning, Michael.
Good morning, Richard.
I wonder what we can expect.
We have just, as you may remember, if you joined us yesterday, we have seen the Nina Roth team last night playing here, and I'm sure they have analyzed their game, may have noticed something about the sheet, and will try and give the Wang team a hard time here. The winner will advance to the semi-finals this morning at 11 o'clock, and the loser will drop out and be ranked at 5th place. We can now here see another classical start to the game. Teams playing into the house, not taking the risk, and just see how everyone feels this morning.
So Zhou, her second stone here in the first end, all the play in the house so far. Eileen Geving then, her second stone.
Just sliding out. It's going to hang around, as it looks like.
Second player for the US team.
So now it's up to Jinli Liu, the second player for the Chinese team, to remove that stone at the back of the house. Manages to do that, however, she rolls out as well, giving the US team a chance to place their stone anywhere they want into the house. If you're unfamiliar with curling, the goal, if you have last rock advantage, which we call holding the hammer, the goal is to score 2 points. And if you don't have last hammer, you will try to either score 1 point, which we call stealing, or force the opposition to only score 1, so that you then get the hammer in the next end. Because if you score, you need to start the next end. We can now see here that the US has actually not played into the house. They have played a guard. So that means they would actually like to get something going in that end. Maybe hope for a miss by the Chinese and then draw around this guard. And then, as I just said, try to force the Chinese to 1 point. The Chinese not rolling out, hanging around on the wings, and the US is now decided to take that stone away and roll towards the center with their own stone.
So Wang, third player for China. Wang skipping. So with that one coming up short, there's a little opportunity for Nina Roth to try and get some play going.
80, 85.
If they can get round here, at least put a little bit of challenge the way of Wang. So the draw around the guard is the attempt here.
Becca. 4-5. 14-6.
Here we go, passing the guard.
Yep. Go. Very nice. Nice shot.
And a nice weight behind the guard, just like Nina Roth wanted. China now forced to make a play. They have decided to come down onto the same stone, basically play exactly the same stone and hope to end up slightly better placed towards the center of the house.
So the precise weight is quite important for this shot, Michael. If they just bounce off the yellow shot, they're in view, or as often happens, they end up in second spot.
Exactly. Now the stone they just played, it actually ends up in second shot position, and you can see a little bit. So it is now important for the US that they place another stone in the 8-foot circle. So that's a white circle on the right-hand side of the screen. Split the house, as we call it, because otherwise China would have a chance to play onto its own stone and bump the yellow one out, sitting 2.
I think like 85, 90. Yeah. Do you want it even but shot? T-line. Okay.
So the first of the skip stones from Nina Roth. In turn draw to the open side of the house. No play over here yet. Well, other than hitting.
So this is a nice shot. The American is now sitting 2. It slips behind the tee line. However, China could draw up to it, but they have decided to go the safe way and play the takeout, it seems. By doing that, China has more or less accepted that they will have to score 1 here, because Nina Roth will then remove the Chinese stone, sitting 2 again, and China will be forced to score 1 to prevent the US from scoring. Here we go, a hit and roll by Wang. Changes the position slightly. The stone is now at the center line, and Nina Roth will attempt to remove it.
She can pretty much run anywhere as long as she lies shots 1 and 2 here.
Yes, Richard, you're right. The important thing is to stay in the white circle. Otherwise, China could bump their own red stone, and by doing that, score 2.
This one's moving a bit. Danger is coming across the shot and not lying in the white. Is she going to stick about? She is, and not a bad spot either. But for Wang, it's the draw shot to outcount these 2 American stones.
Here we go, no problem for the Chinese skip. Drew light onto the T-line and scores 1 in the first end.
So, after 1 end of play here, 1-0 for China, and Wang over Nina Roth and her team from the US.
We saw how straight it goes out there when I threw that hit. So
yeah, everyone like the rock? You're 1 curls more, right? And you're throwing that second?
Yeah, that's I just threw 1 second.
So as you can see, the US team had a short discussion about how the ice curls, whether the curl on the sheet is the same in all spots. They noted that they haven't tried out 1 spot yet. And you may have also heard that they talked about the rocks. Apparently, one of their yellow rocks is curling slightly differently. So they have picked up on that, and they will calculate that accordingly when Nina Roth calls her shots. First shot by the Chinese slips to the back of the 8-foot. circle, which is not ideal because if you slip behind the tee line, your opposition can just draw right up to it, what we call play a freeze, and you will have trouble to remove that stone. The US is now drawing to the left-hand side of the sheet, throwing up a guard and making use of the so-called free guard zone, which means you cannot remove an opposition stone lying in front of the house with the first two stones you play during an end. Nina Roth calling for the draw around the guard. Just waited a fraction too long with the sweeping call, and the stone has wrapped off the guard. China here choosing to replace the guard and therefore blocking the center, and at the same time blocking the path for Nina Roth to draw around her own cornerstone guard. Nicely done by Eileen Gavin. She removes the center guard by the Chinese and rolls to the side, thus opening up the path again to draw behind her own yellow rocks with a later stone.
So a chance here for Junli Liu to come around that center stone. To lie 2. Looks pretty good. Nice draw into the top of the 8-foot circle.
Nina Roth now forced to open the center of play and remove the center guard played by the Chinese with their second stone of the end.
So after that force on the Chinese in the first end, where they had to take a single point, the last stone advantage here is held by Nina Roth. And therefore she's keen to keep the house open. If necessary, able to draw to the 4-foot circle.
This one still needs to curl quite a bit, which it does in the end.
Well, that guard's quite far out of the house, so
exactly, and it only covers part of the stone, so Nina Roth has just signaled to her third, Tabitha Peterson, to come down with a soft weight takeout, not too fast, to get some movement on the stone, and that way play the hit and roll to the wings behind her own yellow stones. Starts to move now.
well, a little bit pacey perhaps.
A little.
Didn't curl enough to remove that, and
Came down just a hair, but
not possible to stay in the house, catching as little as that, which was the other important aspect of that stone.
she almost bucked it to.
Need to curl a fraction more and probably a bit too heavy.
I agree, yes. You would have liked to stick around with that one. Instead, the Chinese now with the opportunity to place a third stone into the house. And if Wang can place that one nicely covered behind the guard, and then it will be advantage China.
So Nina Roth just looking at the chance to hit the side of that and roll in behind, I think. Wanting the roll if she can get it. Well, she did, but colliding with the second Chinese stone there.
Looking at the way she played, it was a rather fast stone, so I think she was aiming at moving that second red stone a bit further to the right-hand side. And for that, she just hit a fraction too much of the red stone.
So we can see here the chance to hit that yellow stone belonging to Roth and roll in next to their own red counter. Make it tough for the US to remove them. Wang then skip for the Chinese team. Our first stone here in the second end.
And she's actually rolling to the wings, which is plan B. The important thing for the Chinese is to separate the stones as much as possible so that Nina Roth cannot play a double takeout, removing both stones at the same time. However, the separation also means that Nina can play the stone her third has just played, and since the distance is a bit bigger, she can actually try to roll underneath the red shot stone and end up lying in shot position herself.
So this is the first of her 2 skip stones in this end. 3 stones remaining. 1 more for Wang. But Nina Roth being pushed hard at this end.
This one just curling a little bit too much. The sweepers giving all they have, but
I thought it would back up like a tap.
the stone just moved a bit too much and misses catching any of the other red ones and rolls out. China now deciding where to place that stone so as to block the way to the 4-foot circle, the blue area of the house, and thus aiming to make it as difficult as possible for the US team to score. So here the Chinese aim at placing the red stone in the red circle in front of the house, still biting, and that way they will force the US to draw around the left-hand side, trying to get a bit of the blue 4-foot circle. So this one needed to curl a little bit more, was a bit pacey, and ends up frozen to shot rock. It actually does end up in a good spot. The US team have looked at it, trying to decide whether they can remove both red stones. And apparently they have decided that this will be difficult. Maybe even the red one at the back, we cannot see that from the screen, but the red one at the back may outcount a stone if in the front if you remove the two red ones. Therefore the pressure now Nina Roth to draw against 3.
I think that's the problem. If they do hit those two front stones, then they're not going to lie the first shot, and the back one of China's is going to count. So it's a cool draw to the blue area, 4-foot circle. If Nina Roth doesn't want to lose 1 or 2 stones here.
Gotta go! Help!
And they're jumping on the sweeping quickly. I think it could be short.
Tabitha Peterson coming out to help.
Don't stop. Everybody.
Well, they swept that the whole way and ends up just short. Wang gets a steal of 2 points there. Clever play from the Chinese skip to force that draw to the centre of the house, and just failing. So China and Wang into a 3-0 lead after 2 ends here.
Attacking center, we couldn't really get anything going.
Yeah. It's really straighter everywhere. Seems like it's nice.
It's moving nice. I mean, we know it's not going to move this way.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it's got our deuce.
Yep.
Did you get a long? 410. Short. No.
Was it Noah?
So the third end gets underway. And last stone remains with Nina Roth here. After her shot failed to score in the last end.
Becca Hamilton now being asked to play a corner guard.
Let it work if you can.
Nina Roth really wants to draw the play to the wings of the house
Stand, Eileen. Don't trick.
with the goal of ending up having one shot rock before her last rock, so she can put the second one into the house and score 2.
15. 20.
This rock a little short, that's also why it didn't curl that much and actually ends up blocking the center of the house a bit.
So just hoping to finish in the top of the house, but instead setting up a fairly straightforward double if Nina Roth wants to play it. The US have to, or the Roth team have to make something of this, trailing 3-0. So they need some shots in play. China, of course, quite happy to pile the stones into the house.
This one looking a little pacey, coming down to the 4-foot line circle, but staying behind cover of the guard. And China not hesitating. They're going to remove that guard. They know they lie shot rock. They are 3 points up. There's no need to take any risks. So away the guard goes. Nina Roth choosing to replace that guard, preferably about a half a meter to a meter closer to the house, so that it better protects your own stone.
It's over curling. 2. It's over curling. Make it good. Just make it good. It's over curling.
So you can hear it curls more than they expect.
It's over curling. We gotta just make it good. Yep.
So the guard failing there allows Bernese Wang to get to this yellow counter of the Roth team. And it will be removed, choosing to ignore the front guard stone and go for the shot of Roth's. Well, neat result, moving the stones around and spreading them out. They end up more or less in a line, which is definitely to Bernese Wang's advantage.
Nina Roth is now having a look at the situation, and she knows she needs to get something going in that end, but she already has 3 counters in again.
Do you guys like that?
So now she has decided to freeze to the back red stone at the back of the rings,
Yeah, but
which will give her second rock position.
That's good.
And would more or less prevent the Chinese from removing that yellow counterstone. The difficult thing here is there is a yellow guard in front, just the bottom of the screen, and you have to wait for your own stone to pass that before you can actually sweep it.
8. Yep. 8. Yeah. 8. 6. 8 good. Yeah. Down to it. Room. 8. 13-7.
This one looking a little pacey.
It's there. Yep, line. Very nice, Eileen.
Well, ending up in a pretty good spot.
Very nice shot by Eileen Gavin. Ending up in second rock position, frozen to the opposition stone, so China will not be able to remove that. Instead, China is now looking at the situation, and Wang has called for the safe shot, so China will follow down the same path and try to get a frozen rock of their own there. You have to be a little bit careful about the angles that you leave here, otherwise you may end up leaving the US a shot to take both Chinese stones out at once.
This one looks pretty good.
It does, yes.
13秒8。这个有点涩哈。And we would be shot at. Do you like the nines again? No. Nines?
Yeah, I don't mind hitting. Otherwise we get forced to one.
Gotta stick this one around.
Nina Roth has looked at the angles and she's calling for the first red stone in the house to be removed.
What? 9.
She is looking for a little roll to the left behind her own guard, and if things go according to plan, then the red stone will catch another red stone in the back and maybe remove 2 stones at once. Could even get all 3 going if you hit it right.
Whoa, whoa! Yeah, yeah! Hurry! Hurry! Okay.
Well, it will only be 1, but the yellow stone in the front of the house is now possibly useful. Can do something with it, but there might be a temptation for Wang to lock this up and put her guard out. They never like doing that in case something goes wrong and they can't get at it from behind. But they are 3-0 up.
Exactly, and there's 3 rocks left, so if they throw a guard on that, they allow second and first shot. May actually become difficult for the US to score more than 1.
这面这两个球看着好打吗？
露外点边儿，就露这么大。
打这个打那个相关那个。
只要把它这么粘着。
站这个，站这边一点就行。
对，粘这边一点就行，只要不让它从找。
行，行。这边白边。
There's basically 2 shots here that you can play. You can either throw up a guard, lock the situation, or you can come down and place another one into the 4-foot circle, which is the call China has now made. As before, you have to be a little bit careful about the angles you leave the opposition team. But if you can get a stone frozen, half covered behind the yellow one, frozen to your own, then you really put the pressure on the US. stone has started to curl and the Chinese are now sweeping it. It looks a little short. So judging from their reactions, the call probably was the guard.
太近了，他就直接找了。这个正好站上了，但是他这个黄牛这边一看，他那边船也是相关。
Well, it's definitely an opportunity for Nina Roth to
What do you think?
get her third player,
Thinking.
Tabitha Peterson, to come right into the forefoot there.
Get in there. Yeah, that's true. We can do that on.
But they want to score more than 1 point here, and that's where it gets more difficult with all these stones round the forefoot circle.
Now that it's open.
Okay, let's do it. Because they got to cover either the guard or the freeze on the next one. If we don't make this, then you got the draw on Nina's. Right?
I don't like it back there.
That's just, only get rid of one that way.
This is a long run.
What if we just straight peel it? That's fine.
We can try it.
Yeah? Yeah?
You can hear the front end of the US talking,
I like the run.
Yeah.
and they have convinced their skip to go for the guard, try the long run back, and if you miss in the back, the most important thing is that you roll to the side and leave the center line open. This will force China to cover again, and the most important thing they have just said is they want to leave Nina Roth a shot with her last stone.
Well, let's open things up a bit. But the shot played by Peterson is now straddling the center line. Potentially troubling for them. China now lying 1, Wang 1 at the back of the forefoot circle. There's a chance here to draw from the right-hand side in past that front red stone to lie 2, just in front of the forefoot circle to lie 2 shots. So piling on the pressure to the Roth team, Wang, making a lot of shots in this game. So a draw through that gap between the center yellow stone and the front red one. So what's the weight like? It's going to lie second shot. And right round the guard. Well, nice stone there from Wang, but I think they just left it slightly short of counting shot, the second shot here.
How much do you have?
How much do you have? How much do you have from the hat?
Just there.
Tab, for a second.
So the Roth team is looking at how much of the red stone was just played. You can see from the hack. The thinking there must be whether they can bump it up, but maybe even move the shot rock a little bit. The problem here is that if you want to draw from the right-hand side of the screen, you may remember there's 2 yellow guards out in front.
From either way.
What if we play this?
Is it curling up there at the end?
What's that?
I'm wicking off of it. I'm just wondering if it curls there enough at the end. Just let your guard go in there, and it took a while for it to cross
It
that
took a while,
line.
but it did.
It did. And it was back house.
With how that one is in the top of the house, we need to barely clip the left guard
Yeah.
to make it in.
Yeah. I mean, my other option is to stay off that guy. That kind of sucks. Let's play the run again. But if I don't make it, we're... I gotta play that. Back line. Eileen played it. I had hers here. Back line. Back 8. Okay. Wake off the top one. Okay.
Okay.
Wait's nice here.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice
So the decision here not to play a simple guard because the port is too narrow, and they will play a backline weight onto the top red one, pushing the red one to the side behind the 2 line and rolling to the left-hand side of the screen
I have more of it on this
with their own
side.
stone.
What?
I have more of it on this side. I could play and flop behind that. The red one.
Yeah, that'd be
Might
fun
easier.
too.
Nina Roth has had a look from the hack at the situation and decided that she can see more of the red stone from the other
I
side,
have
so
more
she's
of it on this side,
I know. Yeah. You don't have any on this side.
but it curls.
It doesn't curl as much this way though. It curls nice this way.
That's a lot easier
Well, this
on
is
that
what
one.
Yeah.
Do you want to like just do this, or do you want to go hard for this?
That's
Or is that
not
there?
possible.
Okay, so that.
Might run a little bit.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Or I can just push it back. But if you, it's that
No jumping.
tricky spot though, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to throw like at least back line, right?
So the Roth team has changed the call. They will come at the front redstone in the house from the
Try to get to
right-hand side of the screen and try to get a little roll to the right.
Trying to throw back line now for sure? Yeah. Okay. It's like a 85.
Well, even after this shot, she's not going to lie shot by playing that.
No, she isn't. And she may even not be lying second or third shot. However, if she makes it right, then China won't be able to block both paths to the center of the house, to the button.
Whoa, solid back line.
We're not really on it yet. Barely touching it. Right on that one if you can.
That's not bad, Neen.
Well, she made a connection, but the result is that
That's not bad.
the new Wang lies 2.
Double the other way now.
Yeah.
She, as you pointed out,
Yeah,
Michael,
she's
she
won the
can't cover both sides. We get another look at this. Not just getting enough of the stone
Option. Either way.
to bump it far enough. So there are 2 stones remaining here.
And as you heard Tabitha Peterson just say, the result here is that you have a double opportunity as it lies now. The US could hit the rock on the right-hand side of the screen in the 4-foot circle, come across and push the shot rock out. And the Chinese are now discussing whether to guard against that shot or whether to come down into the house again and place a third rock in the 4-foot circle. So the Chinese have decided to pile the pressure on a bit more. They will try to get a third rock into the blue area, the 4-foot circle. And if they manage to place that right, then Nina Roth will be left with a double takeout to score only 1. And that being said, it's not the easiest double takeout in the world.
So this shot, a similar one to the last one she played. Curling now. Is it going to get past that front guard? I think it is. Yep. Well, it does not outcount the yellow stone in the front of the back of the house, which it needed to. So there is a chance of the double here, definitely from Roth. She could pick up 2 points. Not easy, as you pointed out,
Room on both
Michael.
sides, so any way you want to throw it.
The problem with that shot here is you have the yellow guard on the center line that you have just seen on the screen, and that means she has to throw a rather hard takeout, a fast one, so that she can get through the gap and not overcurl behind.
And if she plays this a fraction wide, she's liable to catch her own yellow stone on the right as we look at that picture from the overhead camera. So hitting the right hand side of that red stone and locking into the one to the immediate right of the brush for the 2 points. Well, big weight from Roth. Needs to get past the guard. Is it going to do that? It might. Well, that was the danger too. Locked onto her own stone.
It was, but looking at how close it passed by the guard, you couldn't have played that shot better. May not have been there from the beginning.
No. So that is a steal by Wang to give her a 4-0 advantage after 3 ends of play.
How much do we stay that
The
guard
Roth
by?
team in all kinds of trouble here.
要靠外，跟那个走的线好像不太一样。
这个是走的好像稍微直一点，是不是啊？对，行，2个进营，然后完了不知道没有对比，然后完了就这一个，现在是感觉这个是，我觉得应该差不多，因为感觉出手好像不太一样。1、2，加油！到最后反正也都下来，第一个也是前头走的直，后来才下来一点，对吧？ What? And you were like,
I said it, and she looked at me and said no. She said no.
down there?
No, here. She said no.
I didn't hear you down there.
Oh, she looked at me and said no.
You said something and I'm like, what? And you just stare at me. I'm like,
That's because she said no, so I'm not going to say it again.
yeah. Well, I guess she was getting down and I'm like,
I was looking from down there, I was like, you're going to have to
Guard.
thin this, and then
and we did. And we missed it.
we should have, yeah, just known to get on it right after we passed it.
But we were on it.
在家呢？那我那个要带魔宝了呢？
4.5.
就剩这半那啥了，剩这半年了。
14.5.
So if you're just joining us, welcome to the 2017 Bern Ladies Cup. And we are in the curling ban Almend in Bern. We're bringing you live coverage today of the game between Nina Roth from the US and China's Wang. And so far, 3 ends of play have been
话说回来，我那球好像亏了没进去，我那球要进去了，好像正好给人挡着了。
been played, and the Chinese team of Wang have a 4-0 advantage, really forcing the play in this game. And the US team of Nina Roth struggling to hold on here.
Hard, Tam! Push, you got it! I'm really good! Gotta be tight! Come on, let's go!
The US team off to a good start with a force. They forced China in the first end to score 1 point and took the hammer, but they have not been able to capitalize on that in the following 2 ends. And in this end now, it really is time for the team of Nina Roth to get on the scoreboard and narrow the gap.
So once more, the front end of Wang putting the stones right into the front of the 4-foot circle. That's exactly the worst place for the US to be dealing with them.
Line's good. Got room. Coming in next. It's frozen. Whoa, lots of room. Lots of room. Eileen. 7. Around. Yep. Yep. Eileen. Hard line. Hard line. Room. Yep. Dying. 5.
This rock having the weight, but not the line. It didn't curl as much as they expected. They would have liked to end up frozen to the Chinese shot rock. Wang is now calling for the takeout with a little roll to the center so that she will end up frozen on her own rock. Here we go, good result by the Chinese.
Nice shot there from Junli Liu. And all the play concentrated in the front of the house. Blocking the path to the button.
Wow. What kind of weight?
Just 2 or a little bump.
Nina Roth has realized that she will have to make use of those Chinese stones, and she's now playing into the pocket of the 2 red stones.
8, 9. 10. 9. 10. Okay.
This one seems to be a little pacey.
A little bit. Yep. Hurry, Tab. Good shot. Good.
Ends up moving the rocks, and this good thing is she has pushed the shot rock of the Chinese behind the tee line, allowing herself to freeze onto that at a later point if she should need it.
The more unfortunate thing is it's a straight route out for her stone. There's nothing blocking the way to remove the yellow stone right out of the house, and of course leave the shooter here blocking the 4-foot circle once more. So a straight hit on the nose would be a pretty nice shot here for Wang. Second. Well, she managed a good clearance of everything out of there. I think perhaps they were also feeling there's so many stones in play they could be acting against us once this end goes a bit further on. Not now. Cleared the decks, apart from one stone.
This at the moment makes life easier for the US, but as you have pointed out, Richard, once the end progresses a bit further, China may be glad that there's not too many stones around.
Get ready.
Because we have to remember they are 4-0 up, so China doesn't mind if the US team has to take 1 point here. Nice throw behind the corner guard. You can hardly see anything from the hack. But seeing that the guard is actually wide out in front, you could still get to it. And that's the message the Chinese front end has given her skip as well. And so now they have changed the call. They will play a soft weight takeout, attempting to remove the US stone. we go.
Well, nicely played by Wang. And the new Wang team now lying two, both of them just behind the tee line.
Freeze, that's a good shot too.
So a freeze right onto the nearer one would be a good shot. Freeze, one of the toughest shots in the game, because if you're not locked right onto the stone, like glued to it, then it's pretty easy to remove. Especially if it's wide open, as this one is.
4, 5. 7 is good. 7 is good. Lots of room. Roll, Eileen.
This needs to curl and it needs to stop, because a little bump on the stone will open up air between them both.
The weight is all right, but it never curled. So now the Chinese with the opportunity to remove that stone. The only thing they have to be careful about is not to over curl, so as to not to lock it onto their own red one. However, they don't mind if they remove one of the red ones in the process.
Well, not quite. Yellow stone hanging on in the back of the house there, but not too troublesome for the new Wang. She still lies first and second shot after that stone.
It looks like it's cheap.
And Tabitha Peterson now being asked to play another freeze. This time because it is in front of the tee line, you need to corner freeze the stone so that you're a bit closer to the center.
And they are able to make use of their long guard here too with this one, if they can get it right. It's not a straight route in for the new Wang. So this needs to curl and it needs to stop locked onto the stone, not bounce off it. That's a very nice shot, but is it first shot? Yes, I think, well,
I think it might be.
difficult to tell between the two stones. But yes, I think it is first shot. Well, it was worth every last sweep there to get it to that position. So we're down to skip stones here at the fourth end. Nina Roth and her team from the US. They're trailing 4 shots to 0.
8区9区往里旋，然后呢看轻磕真磕一下啊。
14秒5，他是14秒85。加油！
China has opted to follow that rock down and try a corner freeze of their own. If you get it right, it's a good shot. However, you need to be careful if you bump off the yellow rock, then you leave an open takeout for Nina Ross to hit and roll and glide too.
And quite possibly quite well guarded. Well, they're having to sweep vigorously to get past the guard. Oh, just missed it. Well, definite chance now for Roth to do something here. I think the shot would, well, what do you think the shot would be, Michael?
I think you need to be careful now. You've got 2 opportunities. You can draw behind the red guard that Wang has just played inadvertently, or you can hit and roll off your own.
Yeah.
However, you need to be careful and keep in mind that China may also try to hit and roll off the yellow one. Looking at the angles from here, the hit and roll of the yellow is not that easy.
All right.
So I think the shot to make is draw around the red one from the left-hand side.
Now when you want us to finish.
End up lying 2, and then China will have some pressure to react.
Yeah, it did.
The advantage is if you play that is if China plays the hit and roll of the yellow, then the yellow will stick around because it has a red one as backing.
5, 6, 5, 5, 5, 6. Coming down now.
I got lots of room.
Okay, then you.
Gotta be 4 foot though.
It is.
Yeah, finish.
Gotta bury it.
6, 7.
Lucky though.
It is. Gotta bury it.
So this is a nice rock by
We bury it.
Nina Roth. Doesn't get full cover. But it should get enough so that China cannot roll off their own or off the yellow one. Also, we can see here if China rolls off the yellow rock, there's a chance that the yellow rock will catch in the back on the red rock.
Well, it's difficult to hit that yellow one and roll in behind the guard. I'm not sure that shot is on. Gives a different perspective from this angle, but overhead it looked as if it might be just on and no more. But as you point out, the danger is you're sending that yellow stone towards the back red one. That may not matter because most of the plays within the 4-foot area are just outside it. But a hit and stick in here would be a good shot from Wang, I think.
I think so too.
Certainly playing a controlled take out at this. Sweepers were onto it immediately, suggesting there might be a problem with the guard. Well, hit and run out. So now Nina Roth has got what she needed, the opportunity to draw probably for 2 shots here, assuming the US counter just outside the 4-foot circle is lying first shot, which I think it is.
I think it must be lying, otherwise they would make a play onto it.
Same thing. You got it.
So Nina Roth being able to play exactly the same rock as she just played, which always sounds easier than it is.
This is a crucial draw shot for Roth at this stage, trailing 4-0. She's managed to engineer this situation where she has a free draw for 2, but it needs to be almost in the 4-foot for her to get the 2 points. Is it far enough? That's the question.
Sweeper's on it right away from the
Not
start.
bad, but she's got to cut to the blue or close to it. Yeah, she makes it. Well done.
Here we go. Awesome sweeping by the front end, giving Nina Roth a second rock. China now looking closely at the situation. And they are not convinced. They are calling for a measure.
They can call for a measure as much as they like, but they're going to have to go and get the measure.
Exactly, yes. As opposed to European and World Championships, where you have umpires that do the measuring. On the Curling Champions Tour, that is up to the teams to go and get the measure and do it themselves.
I think they're all waiting, but nothing's happening. The measure is at the other end of this sheet of ice on the wall. There's no sign of anyone going there.
Well, there is a second measure at the other end of the hall. So they may have
Gone in that direction.
got in that direction, yes.
Here it comes.
他一会儿要是站位，正好边击赢了。
中间前进也行吧。
一会儿就。
不良好了，还跑这么远。
And we're making a little joke about that, but one of the nice things about curling is that normal games, of course, not so much championships, but normal games, it is up to teams to agree between themselves on the measure, and they don't need intervention from umpires.
Exactly, and even if you look closely at the rule book in a championship, the umpire can only say what he thinks is right, and the two skips have to agree, and if they don't, they get the chief umpire involved. So curling is still very much the idea that the teams manage the game themselves, and the umpire just jumps in if there's a disagreement about the rules.
So I think from that it was a second point for the US team of Nina Roth, and that will mean they tighten the score from 4-0 to 4-2 at the end of the fourth end. This is the midpoint in the 8-end game. So they had to fight hard for their two, but they got it. So
nice freeze there, Tab.
So now it is important for Nina Roth to keep doing what they're doing. Don't let the Chinese score multiple points, and try to narrow the gap in the 5th or 6th end.
So for them, time to go perhaps for a steal point if they can get it, where they don't have last stone, try and mix it up and get cover out in front of the 4-foot circle. That's what Becca Hamilton was asked to provide with this first stone in the 5th end.
Yep, you got it. Yep. Hurry, Eileen. Finish hard. Come to center line. Eileen, push it. Yep. Hurry, Eileen. Make this really good. Straight. Yep. Hard. Hurry. Right here. Come on. Hurry. You got it. Yep. Harder, Eileen. Yep. Push, Eileen. Go. Great sweep. Nice job.
Here we go, a nice center guard covering the center of the house, not too far out, so that you can nicely draw around it comfortably, but you cannot play takeouts around it. The Chinese now with Zhou with her first stone drawing into the 4-foot circle. Good sweep by Arlene Gavin and Tabitha Peterson, trying to drag the yellow stone right onto the red Chinese stone. Didn't quite succeed. However, if you're aiming to steal, being on the center line, cover behind the guard on the 8-foot circle is not a bad position either. Of course, they will have at some point to move the stones around and hopefully end up in shot rock position. The Chinese following that rock down.
15秒6。
Just a little bounce. Okay.
And we will now see the US
Same like 80 that I threw last time.
playing
Yeah, 80.
a little bit more than backline weight, probably, and getting the stones in front of the house moving.
Yep, yep. Hard, hard. Hurry. Hard, hard. Yep. 6, 8, hard.
So feverish sweeping to try to get past the guard and failing.
Hard. Harder.
Not so good. Centre guards are what Team Roth really needs here to try to get really close to the button in an attempt to steal a point.
Exactly, and from what looked like a promising situation to set up something, has gone to a bit of trouble for the US in one stone.
Okay. Sorry.
China here making a slight mistake. They didn't want to remove their own shot rock,
吓人了吗？
and this may allow the US to capitalize on that.
Well, all the stones moved around, but the shot rock on the in the 4-foot circle removed from play with that stone.
And Nina Roth has gone straight away to calling for a draw, so she will try to draw around the two Chinese rocks and lying shot rock position on the T line.
Sweet corner. Line's really good. Go. Corner. Yup. All the way. That's perfect. Whoa.
You had to tight tuner
Whoa.
This one just being a little bit slow and therefore curling more, touching the guard.
快点，那个就差不多能挤过去。
还是吃哈士达也行。
真好，真好极了，加油！
好，Lisa 10秒力量。
行。
Sorry，10秒。
So I think forced pretty much to hit on the nose, because if she hits anywhere on the high side, she's going to push this onto her own stone. Less chance of removing it. Don't think she's far away from it with this one though.
哎，我去，又晃回来了，晃丢了，这儿炸开。
You don't like drawing around?
So the suggestion from
The only problem is that this isn't crisscrossed anymore.
the third player to draw behind.
So they'd have a straight run back.
It's not overlapping, she's saying, so they'll have a run back.
Wondering if we double these and sit here. They probably peel this or split it.
I would be going for the draw behind, I have to say.
Me too. Nina Roth is afraid that if she draws behind, the Chinese will have a run back.
Center guard.
But still, if you make a good draw, the run back will be more than a meter on swingy
They'll
eyes.
come around after.
And looking at the scoreboard, you need to take some risks now.
That's right.
If you put her all the way past it, she's not going to have a run back. If it finishes,
Not on the front.
and they're staggered the other way.
Let's go.
So they have to come to the same conclusion that they're playing the draw.
So through the gap between the
7.
guard of the Roth team on the right and the centre guard.
Whoa. 7. Whoa. Can I go? It's on the yellow.
Oh.
Where's my weight?
This one needs to
7, 8.
curl to get past this yellow stone. Ooh, by the merest fraction. Now it needs to stop. Well, that was a tough shot actually, because although it just passed the front guard by next to nothing, it also passed the one in the middle by not very much, with the amount of swing on it.
底线力量，
直接打的。
我觉得直接底线踏板，打哪个呀
OK
就像我刚才那个，
这应该够直接，多好啊！
一半一半，
这应该中间
一大半
踏板的吧 ？OK，
OK，
踏板。
下线的话直传也可以。
行，踏板力量，底线踏板。
Wang realizes that
13秒，13.5。
the center guards may cause some trouble for her.
够了。
3秒。
So the call seems to be to hit the center guard about half stone, causing it to roll into the house and roll the shooter out of the way.
下线了。
However, this rock is calling a lob.
哦哦。
Good result though.
A very nice result, because the danger was possibly popping that red stone out into the open. But it's fairly well locked up where it is.
The only thing left to do for Nina Roth now is following down the path she just played and bumping the red stone slightly to the back.
Little tight, yeah. 3, 2, 3. Right to
It's not a very big port to get through between these two stones.
Hard, that's really good.
This one looks light.
Whoa. Can I go? 4, 5. Can I go?
Oh. They couldn't sweep to. Needed to allow for the stone to curl, and it just caught
Okay.
that shot, but it was light all the way.
Right, they're saying 2-3. I had 419.
Yeah, me too.
But she kind of let go, but I gave it that.
Jabbed it.
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
So really, Nina Roth would really like to steal a point here, but if she can't do that, forcing the Chinese to take one is the next best option, and then perhaps be able to come back with another 2 in the next end.
有点难度是吧？
稍微有点难，我感觉有点悬。
那你就还是往里轻传一下这个吧，然后再争取这球。
So if you're China,
我感觉他
I would actually like to
别一点。
bump the red one
对。
on the top of the house on the right hand side a little bit towards the center of the house.
前进的话，到时候我也能选打他，能选给他的。
行。
正常往里轻传一下，或者你就往这儿
It,
传也行。
at the moment, it seems like the US is lying second and third shot, but if you can bump your second stone in the house, which is lying in fourth position, if you can bump that into the 4-foot area,
往那传一个。
then you're looking good to
传一个必然那个
get a score of multiple points in. Of course, you still leave the US
13秒
the draw that they just tried to play, but the gap remains pretty
这
narrow.
就行。
刚才力量就差不多
行，
了。
刚才量差不多。
行。
刚才力量够了。
Well, I think that's what Bernese Wang is indicating for Rui Lang.
底线。OK。哦，等一下，等一下，不下线，力量够。哦，不下线。
Just the tap up on this front red stone into the 4-foot circle. Now it's curling. This looks pretty good. It certainly is. Beautifully played.
Nicely played.
这一会儿有点减，还有点下来点。
Now Roth in some significant trouble.
A little bit on the inside, right? Because I got to make sure that that snows there.
The problem for Roth now is even if she manages to get the red shot zone out of the house,
About there.
the second rock will still be counting. So now she's looking at angles to make a complicated raise across several stones.
Yeah, I think I like that way better than playing.
If you're China, this is exactly the shot you want to leave the
I agree.
US.
Snap at the end.
because you need to be very, very precise on where you hit the first rock.
Just a little bit on your side of nose.
Okay. What kind of weight?
So the thinking by Nina Roth here is red onto yellow, yellow onto red, and spill them all out.
So important just to get the right connection in the right spot here on this front redstone. Needs to nose it.
Great shot, Nate.
Good job by Nina Roth. Gets rid of one.
That's fine. Good shot.
Leaves her own stone bordering the 4-foot circle.
Move the curl a little bit more.
Well, right now, there is an opportunity to remove this yellow stone and roll in. Last stone advantage here belongs to Wang. She's looking to capitalize on that, try and pick up 2 or 3 shots.
Looking at the eyes, they have indicated they will probably play a heavy draw, which would normally end up in the back of the house, and they will look to get a slight roll of the yellow. The other thing you could do is just throw up a guard, but then of course you would also only take 1 point.
Well, there's such a good chance to get more than 1 point.
Exactly. The danger with that shot is if you miss the port, you create an opportunity for the US.
And this one looks good. She's going to get a good roll at it.
She does. Very nicely executed.
Super play there from Wang. She gets the hit, she gets the roll. The perfect spot. And it's all covered up. The Roth team in
Or to do that same run.
lots of trouble now.
Right there, huh? I don't think you'd. I like this.
So Nina Roth now looking at the draw. She has to draw right up to the Chinese shot rock. If she manages to bump it a little bit, she will be lying shot rock, possibly leaving the Chinese a stone for 3. Or if she can freeze up to the shot rock, then she will most likely force the Chinese to 1. Looking at the scoreboard, she probably will prefer to lie 1, risk being 1, attempting a shot at 3 and hoping for a miss.
And just to remind everybody, we're in the quarter-final knockout stages, straight knockout in this Bern Ladies Cup. So it could be a score of 3 for China will hasten the end of it all. Not played a lot of weight here, and it's curling quite vigorously. Is she going to be on the guard? She is. Well, the sweepers were a bit negligent there. They needed to be onto that stone and keep it moving. Well, now in dire trouble.
Are we on that yellow? I don't know. She said give it a second.
China now drawing for 3 on the other side, which is the sensible call. No guards in front. You basically need a little bit more than full 8 foot for your 3 points to count. The only thing the Chinese have to be mindful is there was not a lot of play in that side of the sheet in the last couple of ends. So they have to be a bit careful about how they judge the rock and the way they play.
When you don't play on the ice, Michael, it frosts up a little bit, or can do, just get a little bit slower.
It can get a little bit slower if you don't play on the ice for a while. And then that may make the difference of half a meter that you need in the end. The important thing here is that the sweepers closely watch the rock, because they are the ones that will pick that up and react accordingly by sweeping.
Well, I think Wang has played a little bit more weight on this.
This one looks rather pacey.
Might get a little nudge off the... No, she's in good order. Is it going to stop? Not quite. That was tough. I think the yellow does outcount it, so it will only be a score of 2. But in most cases, you would be quite happy with 2. But when it's a free draw to the 8-foot circle, you'll be a little annoyed that you didn't make the 3. So the score jumps to a 6-2 lead for Wang over Nina Roth after 5 ends.
I don't really use both of them. End up peeling one of them.
No, it's more just a delay.
Yeah. Or 2.
Okay. We haven't done that all year. Alrighty then. Also went down 4.
Yes, we have. We've been down 4 quite a bit.
So for anybody joining us in the last little while, we're bringing you quarter-final action in the Bern Ladies Cup. Straight knockout stages now. The last 8 teams are determined, and they're playing down to 4. In this game, Wang from China is in the ascendancy with a 6-2 advantage over Nina Roth, scoring 2 points in the last end, the 5th end, and we're now in the 6th of this 8-end game. And really, every end, the US have faced tough shots. Wang has played exceptionally well today, and her team.
Whoa! Let it die!
Tight. 15-2.
So the US team badly need a score of 2 points here in the 6th to try to get back into this game. They're running out of time.
What was that?
403.
What was that?
The first shot by the US team slipping into the house, allowing the Chinese to remove it, since the free guard zone is only valid for guards in front of the house. And at this stage of the game, this is a big mistake.
So Becca Hamilton, her second stone here in the 6th.
2.5, 3 is good. 2.5, 3, yep. Yep, hard. Cap, stay on it, yep.
Wang lying 2. Two shots in the 8-foot circle. I'm going for the clearance of the guard here. It's certainly not in their interest of any US stones in play. And now that they're past the lead stones, they can hit anything out.
So we'll probably see the same scenario repeating for the next 2 stones or so. The US putting up a guard, China removing it. At some point the US will probably have to make a play into the house, attempting to freeze to something and try to get a score out of this.
Curling really hard. Where do you want it? Hard. Whoa.
So Junli Liu just missing that one altogether.
So this giving a chance for Team USA, Arlene Geving, to draw around the guard she just played and create an opportunity for her team. This one looking a little light. The US would have liked to come about half a meter deeper, would have given them some more curl behind the guard, and they would have light shot second position at least. Now, with this shot being more or less open, the Chinese can hit it.
And even better for Bernese Wang. She managed to spread her stones around the house nicely, shooting that one off to the wing. That was part of her aim in that shot.
Yeah, I don't mind that either.
So achieved perfectly, I would say.
Give her a freezing for 3rd count.
But it's just like that.
So Nina Roth is now calling for the
I kind of do.
freeze onto the
Had this yesterday.
second Chinese shot, I think, from what she pointed.
Well, the other great thing about that last stone of
Because they can make doubles with them. They can't make a double.
Rui Wang's was that the shooter blocks the draw behind that yellow guard for the US. They can no longer curl around that guard from the inside out.
This way you have more house to stay in.
Okay.
Exactly.
So cleverly executed shot. Bernese Wang sees these things.
Yep.
She does. Oh, she's been around for, must be close to 10 years now on the international scene. And that kind of experience shows itself in situations like these.
5. Got a long way to go. 7. 4. Just a 4. Line's better. Keep your head up. Right up. Line's better. 7. Whoa.
14-3.
Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Good.
Here we go. A little bump on the rock.
And Wang will not be concerned at all if she removes one or two of her own stones in the process here.
For her, it's really just about keeping the US to 1. And she doesn't care about anything else.
That's right, not with a 4-shot advantage. Well, that one was picked out and didn't take anything with it. No real harm with that, because it still blocks this draw around the corner guard, leaving that stone there.
Same weight. Yeah.
So again, I think Wang saw that. One hand, she would like to clear the house of some of their stones as well, because everyone presents a danger. On the other hand, blocking that draw around the corner guard is particularly annoying if you're the US.
It is, because that corner guard is basically one of 2 chances to score 2, the other being that freeze they are now attempting to play. But as you have pointed out earlier, Richard, the freeze is the most difficult shot in the game. And this one way too short to actually freeze to either of the 2 Chinese stones.
And that really is the difference between these teams. The execution of the shot from the US team is just not good enough, not perfect enough in each case to present too much of an issue for not to test Wang out with really tough shots. This shot she's left with now is not tough in the slightest. It's dead easy. Hit half of this out the house and run your shooter.
Exactly. And the thing is, as the game progresses further and the gap in the score widens, and the difficulty of the shots for Team USA rises every end, while the Chinese can actually afford to play the safer option. Here we go. That's actually the best result for the Chinese. By removing their own shot rock behind the T-line, they take away Team USA's opportunity to freeze to it, and by rolling to the right side, they take away any slight chance the US would still have had to draw around the corner guard. So I think there's only one shot left they have. If they can try to play a soft tap back on the red shot rock and roll a little bit to the left, but however, looking at it from that side, from that angle, it's a very, very tough shot to make.
Take a little less.
Because there's not a lot of room to actually overcurl and roll to the left.
You got it. Wait, you've been thrown.
Line's tight. 4-5. Line's good. 4. Yep. High line. Gotta go.
Come on, we gotta get second count.
Well, you mustn't be short here, whatever else you are.
Come on, roll it in.
Well, not a terrific result.
They may possibly lie second shot, but up there it's not going to be any good. If you're China, I would just split the house, play to the left-hand side into the 8-foot circle. Then for sure you're lying 2 with no chance for the US of taking both out at the same time and scoring.
So ignoring that front stone of the Roth teams and just drawing to the other side of the house to lie 2. Only 1 stone remaining for Nina Roth, and it looks as if she's going to be forced to take a single point here.
I agree. The only thing the Chinese have to be mindful of, and which they have also talked about, is that they need to get down towards the same line. They cannot leave their rock line higher as the shot rock, so as to not give Nina Roth an opportunity for a across the house double takeout. Here we go, this one coming up a little bit short. It lies in second rock position. And the US is now carefully looking at the 3 rocks biting the house.
Yeah.
And Tabitha Peterson just said she's sure the US is lying 3rd rock.
Well, I think we'll go behind it. For how thin we have to hit it, or go over the top of it.
That's what I mean. That way?
Yeah. It's gonna move.
So this next shot of Nina Roth is the last one in this 6th end. And the US team are facing 2 counters belonging to Wang and her team.
And this is an absolutely crucial shot for the Roth team. It's the last rock in the 3rd last end, so if you want to stay in the game, being 4 down, you absolutely have to make that shot.
So the double for 2 is the call. This one needs to curl a bit, otherwise she's missing. And she does miss. And gives up 2 more points. I think that's the end. Indeed it is. Nina Roth has had enough. 2 points to Wang and her team from Beijing, and they will move on to the semi-final with an 8-2 win over Nina Roth and her US team. So all comes to an end for US interest in this year's Bern Ladies Cup.
I think we have seen a game that started off well, but then as the game progressed, you could just see that the Chinese this morning were the better executors of their shots, and that's why we have that scoreline in the end.
And you can see only 2 points for the US in the 4th end, and they worked really hard to get those 2 points. The rest of the time, the team belonging to Wang was dominant really throughout the 6 ends of play. So we will be moving to the semi-finals and back on air at 11:15 local time, around about 1 hour from now. I would hope everyone might like to come and join us then. Semi-final action from Bern coming up soon. Meantime, from me, Richard Harding, and from
Michael Schifferle, have a good morning and hopefully see you soon. Goodbye.